start off, no, I'm not in a mirror universe. It does say nerd squared on my shirt. It's just the camera's backwards. So, yeah, it's kind of a mirror. That was with my right hand, not my left. But anyway, don't really know what to talk about. Just on here talking. Blah, 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 blah. I guess we could talk about, being a god and get over death and what that's supposed to mean to me. Well, being one with God is what we're supposed to be. We're the same as everything else, but we're a little different. Okay? God would be more like an equality thing, not a one person over all, and their word means everything compared to anybody else's word. That's retarded. Just retarded. Why would if a God is a God, why would he want anything like that? It doesn't make any sense. Okay. So, basically, a God is somebody that has knowledge over death. Over the unknowable ending that everybody knows about, and don't nobody know who figured it out first, that we actually die. Okay? Well, it's probably the guy that, kept his grandma or wife around for months on end after their body stopped moving. That bitch ain't coming back. I'm sorry. It's just not. But the fact that we know that we die and can prevent it at points makes us a little god. Okay? Just because we know that, we have a little mortal information about our mortality. Okay, so that makes us an immortal at a small point. Okay, but it still makes us immortal. We no longer just live or have a lifespan of 35 years. My grandpa's 80 something years old, and he fought. Well, he was gonna fight in Korea, but they turned his ship around right off the bat, man. As soon as he started heading over there, they turned his ship around. He didn't get to fight in Korean War, but he almost did. But anyway, our ages are astronomical compared to the ages from the beginning of the 1900s, the late 1800s. They're a lot different. I mean, sure, I bet one person out of a ungodly number might have made it to 100. Sure, Granny off the Clampets. We'll just say it was Granny that made it to 100. But somebody's going to do it. It doesn't mean everybody's going to get that far. Most of them got to about 35, 40. Then they were dead. Okay? A generation's only about 20 years. Okay? Now, we're up in our 80s, where it's stable up in the 80s. Okay? A lot of people are living past 50. A lot of people. We're not mostly dead at 30 no more. We're just not. Donald Trump was the oldest president, and now Joe Biden's the oldest president. I mean, is every president going to be the oldest president? I mean, it'd be a nice trend, I guess. The ages keep going up. We just elect one of the oldest people that's still moving around good. By the way, I didn't get to vote this year. It was the only year I didn't get to vote in the presidential election since I was 18. And I did win every election till I was 34 and didn't get to vote because I didn't feel good during the election. I laid back down and went to sleep after I had a thought that said, I'm not a person, I'm a God, which is a lie according to my Bible. If you're a God, you are a person. Okay? You are. word is a person, because there was a person that made up that word. Jesus Christ got the word forgiveness because he proved it. Everybody's forgivable and can live past death at a point. Got an uncle that's a pacemaker, dies a lot, but he's still alive. You know, people do live past death. So we are a mortal, immortal being. I mean, we are. And I'm not the first one to say it, and I won't be the last one to say it. So I wouldn't get greedy about who owns what information. Because I guarantee you, you weren't the first one to know what you know, no matter what you think. If you were the first one to know what you know, that just means you're the first one in your area ever to find it out. Okay? And you can have some originality in this universe. You can. But not all of it's going to be as an original as you think it is. Because what man hasn't thought about just going to the other side just because the other side pissed him off so bad? Okay? I could be talking about multiple things. But, you know, if you can't beat them, join them might get in your head a little too strong. Because it ain't always the best thought. One thought is not always going to be the best thought. Unless it's mine. And I did have a good one. Comparing the notes of what I knew of the Bible and coming up with the acronym Good Over Death, going on over death. It probably isn't mine first off. It's probably belonging to God. But just because I found that little piece of information, it made my whole life better. Because it basically is the opposite of chaos. Because it's the first foundations of building a true orientation away from death. To where everything that comes out your mouth isn't just death. Okay? It's one of those things. Okay? And going on over death, you know, because we have to go on, you know, anyway, that it's around. Because, I mean, we're probably not going to get rid of it anytime soon. It's a big thing. So, I just, you know, be careful what you do, because we are trying to get away from the opposite of chaos. But, you know, chaos is going to creep back in. It will. Chaos will creep in. It'll come rearing its ugly head just to prove it's still around. And people can be chaotic, but people are not necessarily chaos. They can be chaotic, but they're not necessarily chaos. You just have to get around the fact that, you know, some people are stupid and some people are smart, and we probably won't ever find out which ones are totally which ones, because everybody has a stupid moment, and sometimes geniuses are just stupid, just dumb. Because, I mean, for the first fact, everybody says there is no God, but there is. If there is no God and you're smart enough to say that there's no God, doesn't that make that job yours? Doesn't it? Doesn't it make that job yours? If you're smart enough to say that there is no God and there should be one, doesn't that make that job yours? Because you're smart enough to do the job of protecting everybody, all of existence, all that there is. Shouldn't that be one of your jobs? And since you're capable of having that job, doesn't that mean that somebody else probably has that job too? Okay? And if somebody else probably has that job, don't you think there's a big one that might have actually, you know, invented it all? Invented every bit of it, you know? Besides man, because man did invent most of it, you know, from our point of view. Okay? From our point of view. But you're still going to have to get over the fact that there's somebody else out there that did invent the world just like we did, just from another point of view, and it's going to connect to ours. Canines did it. I mean, look at all the animals around here that are in our world. Okay? We're with them. They're here. They're called pets. They understand us. They can communicate. Oh, you can tell your dog to go outside and go to the bathroom. I promise you, he'll listen sometimes. Especially if you actually mean for him to go outside and go to the bathroom and not just get abused. But anyway, other creatures can live with us in this life. I mean, we're not the only ones that can. I promise we'll find some eventually that didn't even come from our planet. But panspermia might be a fact too, you know. It could. So we would be related to them in the long run, and it'd still be the same God. And it'd be us, but we still got to look for the big God out there that's not us. Because on one hand, he might actually be God. On the other hand, he could be absence, or Satan, or the devil, the owner of two worlds. You know, he could be that, just posing in a godly form because he thinks our females are pretty. You know, what if what if all the Star Trek events happened from another alien's point of view toward us? You know, okay, good old William Shatner might have some alien baby daddy issues. Just saying, you know, Captain Kirk might have some alien baby daddy issues. But I'm joking around, but on another point of view, you know, we could be the only ones still surviving, and we would have to keep the gate open long enough for another species to take the gate over. Okay, that way that we can have a longer lifespan of actual life and existence. Because, I mean, we are in existence. Okay, we exist, I promise you. If your senses are working and you can go boom, you're in existence, okay? I'm joking still, but seriously. If your senses are working and you know you're in existence, I just want to say raise your hand. If you can't raise your hand, raise a foot. If you can't raise a foot, raise whatever you got. An eyebrow if you want. But, you know, just say you're part of the group. If you're alive, keep living. Because it's the hardest fucking thing anybody's ever had to do was live. Just exist in an absent-minded world. Okay? Because the world, it's basically nothing out there. Little Zeus juice. Little Zeus juice. Mountain Dew. There's some Mountain Lightning out there too. That stuff's pretty good, little generic Zeus juice. But anyway, I like tobacco. It helps, man. And the only thing that ever caused cancer was oppression. If you don't know what oppression is, get a dictionary and find the fuck out. Okay? It's the whole reason the Christians came to the New World. It's to get away from oppression. Because that shit'll kill you. It'll kill you quick. Everybody hating on you, not liking you because you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or you're an atheist. People hate for stupid shit, okay? Don't hate on the brother atheist, okay? He's a smart motherfucker. He's the one that's looking at death 24/7 to watch out for it. Don't hate on the atheist. I wouldn't hate on all the Christians neither, or the Muslims. If you want to say the Muslims got the worst freaking Bible that was ever written, okay, I'm gonna invite you to look at the King James too. Okay, now you're looking at the Old Testament, and then you need to look at the New Testament, and it's a new age coming in. That's what that book's all about, in a new age. Okay, the Old Testament's going to be really rough because you're talking about Noah's times, and then after that, and before Noah. Okay, and that was a long time ago. Okay, I have a little theory about that. You know, I'll mention later. It goes with the Pangea idea of how the Bible interconnects with everything that was around, and how the Tower of Babel could have been real and it fell through the crust of the planet. I'm a little yellow about it, but you know, it could be. I just like to think about it, you know, because if the tower fell through, okay, and put a giant ash cloud up in the air along with the permanent vapor cloud that was already there blocking most of the sun's rays and the cancer agents, because, well, I mean, people were hating everybody and oppression had to be rampant. So, you know, the sun can cause cancer at that point. That just nasty. But anyway, the vapor cloud kept most of that stuff out. So when, you know, the tower fell through the crust, all that extra went into the air along with the heat and everything, and it rained for the first time. Pangea broke the fuck apart. Okay? Noah got on his little boat. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights straight. Okay? And then after it rained, he had to get under the ground because it was about to get cold. You know why it was about to get cold? Because they weren't used to no cloud cover. They weren't used to it. Weren't used to it at all. So Noah had to get under the ground and get all the animals and everything that was on the ark underground before it got cold, and then survive and never come out of the cold ever again as long as Noah was alive. Okay? That's what probably started the Ice Age. I'm just guessing. It's totally just a guess. It's not even that educated, but it's a little educated, but it's not that educated. Okay? But that's probably what started the Ice Age. The Pangea breaking apart. See, when the tower would have fallen through the crust, okay, put too much sausage on the pizza and the crust breaks. Okay? Just put too much sausage on your pizza and try to hold it, and it's going to break the crust. Okay? 200 miles of tower. Okay? That's how far it would be to get to outer space. Okay? 200 miles. Okay? But before, they would have just had to get to, you know, above the cloud cover, which could have been almost that high because it never rained, and it just, the humidity just constantly built up. It never hit that dew point. Okay? But if that crust broke apart underneath that spiral tower, the Tower of Babel, okay, and it fell through the crust and it constantly melted down, okay, and all that kept coming out, okay, it would have put another type of cloud cover over, volcanic ash cloud cover over, and it would have broken apart the loose parts of the crust and made it shift. Okay, kind of like in the movie 2012. Okay, we don't know what broke apart the crust in the movie 2012 except for a polar shift, but we don't know exactly how that happens. I've never heard of it, you know, an exact reason why a polar shift would happen except for an asteroid strike, tower falling through the crust maybe, because it's so much matter, you know, because it would molt right underneath the skin and then make it pliable, you know, the magma would make, you know, really pliable, the crust. And so just about anything could make it shift around to where everything just floats apart. Okay? And then we have the massive Ice Age. Okay? Man has to survive through all that. Okay? We did. I mean, we walked across the Bering Strait. You know? To get back over here where it was destitute. Nobody would come over here. You know why? There's a big yellow volcano somewhere. Don't go over there. I'm just talking, man. I'm having fun. Things I like to talk about, just think about. But we don't want to wish death on nobody. You know, we don't want to wish death on nobody. But Death has happened many times in our past, and will continue to happen until we get smarter. The problem with mortality is the ways to die keep growing, and your money has to keep growing with it. Otherwise, you won't stay ahead of the death. It's like a giant wave that keeps on coming, and you got to fight it back. It's every religion's tried to explain it. Fighting the nothingness back, fighting a great beast that comes in the dark. You know, every religion's tried to frame death the right way. That way, everybody can figure it out. It happens often that people do figure it out, but the problem with it, people get too excited when they figure out this stuff because they think they found the key to everything. And it is, but on the other hand, it isn't, because we know we're still ignorant at a point and our math doesn't always come up right. It doesn't. But, for the most part, we're still alive, still kicking, still making good technologies like the cell phone I'm recording on. You know. But what we just got to remember is we can do these things. We can live past death. We can survive death. You know, longer than any other being this far that we've recorded, we've survived death. Minus the little water bears. You know, those guys. You know, those family members we got. You know, they really know how to survive death. Them little water bears. It's called I love the Odyssey series, the Cosmos. I love that series. It's awesome. I love science, man. Science is a great thing. That's why we got pacemakers. Helps us survive death. You know, the paddles. You're coming back from death. They was dead, but they ain't no more. First one ever spotted doing that was Christ, and you know, everybody says he's dead, but he ain't. So, that was 2021 years ago. They spotted that one. Dude woke up in the tomb, man. He had to treat his own wounds while he was in there in the dark for 3 days. Then some angel, you know, some angel heard him in there in the tomb and decided to open it up and see if he's in there. That's probably got to be a scary job. Hey man, there's somebody in there, some artist in there decomposing. We better get him out. He's gonna run the symphony. I'm just running my mouth because it'll run. But swimming has to be the walking on water they was all talking about. You know, because you're swimming on top of the water, moving your arms and legs, and you weigh more than the water. You know, your buoyancy shouldn't add up that way. You should just sink to the bottom. Okay? That's what most people thought. You just get on top of the water and you sink down, because you always do. You walk in the water and you're sitting on the bottom. Keep walking out and you're going to get deeper. Some man named Christ just, screw that, I'm walking on top. You can breathe on top. You can't quite breathe on the bottom. Yeah. Some man got out of the boat with him and swam a little bit. As soon as he started to look away from him, and he didn't know what he was doing, he started to sink. He's like, hey, look back over here. Keep moving them arms and legs. I'm just a talking. I wanted to say I was joshing, but I ain't really joshing, because I think that's really how it happens. Dude just wakes up in the grave and he's got all this stuff to treat himself with, and nobody else treated him because they didn't have time. he's in the cave, you know, covered by death, so he might as well treat himself and get a bite to eat. And they left it in there for him. 3 days later, someone opens the tomb and says, "Hey, you in there?" "Yeah, just chewing on this pita bread." And unleavened bread, you know. But anyway, a little wine, a little pain relief, you know. Jesus needed a little wine while he's in that cave, a little pain relief. You know, just had a spear through his side and the flesh ripped off of his back by a cat of nine tails. That's a leather whip with 9 strips of leather with pieces of glass and bone through the leather. And just whoosh. Yeah. Then on top of it, he had a crown of thorns. Somebody made a thorn crown for him. You know, just went and rose bush it, made a big old thorn crown and stuck it on him just for sarcasm. Yeah, it was sarcasm. They wanted to prove he was either, you know, the son of God or he wasn't. You know, they was going to prove it right there. God don't always work that way, but he might wake somebody up from the dead and just to say, "Fuck you." That's the old witness protection program for you right there. Yeah, you did it. You did it. You proved it to everybody. He was the son of God, but now you ain't going to get to see him no more because he's going to heaven. Earth, it's heaven and hell. I'd be careful though, because us earthlings know about different stuff that we don't even know about. Oh. But anyway, it's 26 minutes and my dog's throwing up. He got some new dog food. I don't know if he likes it. I guess not. He's gonna hurl. It's too much information for him. He's gonna puke. Scoobert, not on my bookcase. Oh, he's I don't know why he's dry heaving. Poor puppy. Oh, there he goes. It wasn't completely dry. Ugh. I guess I'll talk to you later. 27 minutes in, dog started puking. Later, guys.